Oh, so the new season is fast approaching, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about how I would like Chelsea to sort of line up next season and see if there could be a bit of a shake-up. So stick around. Hello friends and welcome back to another video. This is the Pride of London and I'm your host Nathan, and let's get the admin out the way, shall we? If in fact you have rediscovered this channel and you've not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. It will be lovely to have you part of the Pride. And if you have in fact found me for the very first time and you are a fan of Chelsea, this could potentially be a channel for you. So yeah, subscribe as well. And if you do like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up just down there. It helps out the channel an awful lot. So, with the season fast approaching and potential players coming in and potential players going out, at this time of recording, Chelsea have not yet signed any new players. It is just shortly after England unfortunately lost in the Euros 2020. The players are having a well-deserved break. Pre-season has in fact kicked off at Cobham, and like I said in my previous video, not all the players have come back again. And, you know, Thomas Tuchel has, in fact, a very big choice to make, quite frankly. You know, I'm looking forward to the season because, you know, he inherited Frank Lampard's team and he did very, very well. Let's face it, we became champions of Europe because of that man. And, yeah, he did it with Frank Lampard's team. So hats off to Frank Lampard as well. So this is, in fact, he is probably working very, very hard behind the scenes to try to make his stamp on to Chelsea. So this is the last lineup Chelsea done against Man City in the Champions League final. And, you know, like we had the five at the back and a very sort of like a, like attack with five and defend with five type of style. You know, we've got the wing backs going up either side, a very, very tight, narrow midfield. And, you know, that lone striker sort of floating about a little bit. And, you know, it did as well. I think we had 16 clean sheets leading to the end of the season, and you know, like we got the European success out of it. But Thomas Tuchel hasn't always been a five at the back manager. He has played with four at the back. He even experimented with a little bit at Chelsea from time to time, but he used the players that he had at hand at Chelsea. So with him bringing in his own players, does that mean the formation at Chelsea is in fact going to change? And I hope so. I want a more of attacking Chelsea. It is nice to win a game, even if it is just 1-0, but with the attacking talent that we have in this team, it would be nice to sort of put teams to bed. It really, really would. So this is my sort of want to be starting 11, so to speak. So yeah, let's have a bit of a look. Like I said, guys, this is just me spitballing how I would like Chelsea to line up at this current squad. We haven't signed any new players yet, so this whole thing could change. So my lineup is based on the players that we have already. And of course, you know, it could all be sort of up in the air at any point. But I have in fact gone for a 4-5-1 formation. And, you know, in the goal, it's quite simply, it's Mendy. Mendy's in goal. You know, Kepa, yeah, he is a talented goalkeeper, but, you know, even though he sort of improved under Tuchel last season, he still had a couple of little hiccups. Mendy is our #1 goalkeeper. That is pretty much done and dusted. So I've gone for a back four. I like back fours. I know the whole idea of wing backs and then running up and down. It gives that sort of like solid at the back, and it really, really did help as well. But I like to see an attacking play. I like to see players going forward, and to have more attacking players on the pitch is better in my own personal opinion. So in left back, I have got Ben Chilwell. I think he's a very talented footballer. Very upset that he didn't even get into the squad on most of the England games, or in any of the England games, actually in the Euros. You know, he's a Champions League winner. He recently became King of Europe and he couldn't even make the squad. Mainly because I think it was Luke Shaw that operated that sort of channel most. He was brilliant, Luke Shaw, so we can't really sort of knock him for that. But, you know, I really think Ben Chilwell will do extremely well next season in Chelsea. And also on the right back, I've got Reece James. I think Reece James' speed and his sort of crossing ability is pretty good. Like, he doesn't need to go into the other side of the pitch when he is sort of like playing a wing back. He can get to the halfway line and snip a ball straight across midfield, and I think he'll just do just as good there going forward. And obviously he did play sort of like the right side of position of the back three quite often towards the end of last season. So maybe he's been developed into more of a defensive defender rather than an attacking wing-backing defender as well. So that'll be very interesting to see his development next season. But I've got those two either side. In the middle, you know, Thiago Silva is, quite frankly, he's a king of that central defence. He's got a history in it. You know, he's finally got the trophy that he's always wanted. You know, he's won so many things at Paris Saint-Germain, holding that position. Even at the ripe old age, I think 36, 37, he is still a very, very talented and challenging central defender. And I think he will bring the best out of Kurt Zouma next to him as well. I think Kurt Zouma has the youth, he has the ability, he has the speed, he has the strength. And I think he will learn an awful lot coming from Thiago Silva. Now, of course, we do have the backups of Rudiger, Azpilicueta, Lonzo, Christian Eriksen, and of course, Sarr, who I mentioned in my last video, who has potentially sort of come up a little bit as well. So yeah, this is my back four. My midfield, let's start with the sort of the central three. Of course, you got N'Golo Kanté. Kanté is the holding midfielder at the back. So when our two sort of like wider defenders go forward a little bit, he can come in and sort of like make it into a back three, but he's also there to sweep in front of our back four, to clean up any of the messes that may have been coming before him, and he is the world's best at that position. I don't think there was another player in the world that can play that position better than him. Just in front of him, I've got Mason Mount and Havertz. Yes, these guys are the engine room of my Chelsea team, quite frankly. They've got skill, they've got pace, they've got goals, they've got everything that you need to sit just behind the forward striker. And, you know, they can quite a lot when they play together. They had this sort of like sixth sense of knowing where each other is. And I think that can be developed more next season as well. And, you know, the more they play together, the more they understand each other. You know, when one goes forward, one can probably hold back and vice versa and everything like that. And I think the two of them playing together in that sort of like false 9, number 10 position and sort of like get a real sort of bond, knowing that behind them is protected not only by the best defensive midfielder in the world, but a very solid back four that you don't need to sort of like start looking back. Going into my wider two players. Now, the whole idea with this is that I like wingers. I think they're fantastic. And it's sort of, when you play with wingers, if you have sort of like two attacking left backs and right backs, they can do sort of like the top half of the pitch. They can run up into the central line, and then your wingers can sort of take over the fact as well. And if you got wing backs that are constantly running up and down, they're usually out of position, even though you've got the other three whose sort of job is to spread out, and you've got a defensive midfielder to come in. If you've got wingers as well, that means your defensive wing backs or your either side of your defenders can just sort of like go as far as they can, tap the ball off, and then you've got speed either side of the wing. Plus also having wingers will spread the back line of your sort of opponents a little bit because they don't know where they're going to go or how they're going to perform. So they can sort of spread that back line a little bit. That brings your central midfielders into space. Now, I'm a huge fan of Christian Pulisic. I think he is the future Eden Hazard at Chelsea. He has got some sensational talent under his belt. I do suggest that he might just want to a little bit too much. He wants to be a little bit too clever with the ball. Maybe if he sort of like looks up a little bit more and sees a pass rather than tries to sort of trick his way through. But, you know, what am I to say? I'm a 39-year-old man shooting a video in his spare room. You know, I'm not a professional footballer. So, Christian, do what you do and do it well. Because, you know, he's a game changer. At the moment, he is mainly used as a super sub, and when he has come on for Chelsea, he has been unbelievable in those positions. And on the other side, we have Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now, we all know his talent. I don't need to talk too much about him. He has been coming through Chelsea for the past 5 years, and we've just always wanted more and more and more and more from him. And, you know, as a wide midfield with that amount of talent across that sort of attacking four of Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic, Mount, and Havertz, that is, that would put fear into almost any team around Europe, not just the Premier League, personally. So yeah, I think it's a good attacking four in that sort of formation. Now up front, let's face it, I think the only person we can probably pick there is Timo Werner. Timo Werner is a very talented footballer. You can't take away what he did at Germany. And yet it is very difficult to come into a English Premier League at such a high pacing game. Now he said so himself last season that he found Premier League defenders so much different to the ones in Germany. They were faster, they were taller, they were stronger. And he listed all these sort of like new sort of dynamics that he had to learn to his game. So that's the reason why he didn't do so well. But, we have a history of that at Chelsea. We buy some of the best strikers around the world and they just don't perform well at our club or generally in the Premier League. And, we haven't had a solid big centre forward since Diego Costa. And we are dying for that type of player. Now, we know he has speed. We know that he is quick. And quite frankly, he's sort of like being a little bit too quick because, if he stayed on side for most of the time last season, he would have had a few more goals under his belt. So learning how to sort of like time his run a bit better against defenders who sort of push back might benefit himself. So hopefully he'll be working an awful lot like that on the training ground before the season kicks off. But also as well, to have those sort of like wingers either side, if he gets into the knowledge that once they have the ball, their main aim is probably not potentially to cut in, but also to whip it into the box. Those defenders are running backwards. They are splitting because they want to sort of close down not only the central midfielders, but also the winger himself, that they might find room for him to sort of run in. Plus also Kai Havertz and Mason Mount. Mason Mount can hit a cross or a pass on a sixpence. The pass that he did for Kai Havertz to win us the Champions League was just beautiful. So something that could be sort of brought into in this sort of like nice little formation. But of course, this is all hearsay. It could all change next season. Maybe Thomas Tuchel will not, in fact, change anything and he'll stick to a back three with wing backs and sort of experiment a little bit like that. But, like I said, this is my opinion. This is how I want Chelsea to perform and look next season. And I would like to hear your opinions. Do you agree with my current team? Do you want to make any changes? Of course, we've got like Jorginho, we've got Kovacic, we've got, who else we've got going on there? Will Tammy Abraham impress? We don't know. So yeah, please let me know in the comments below. It will be lovely to hear from you. And if you haven't already, hit the like button because, like I said, it helps out the channel. And if you've enjoyed this, please consider subscribing. And I will see you in the next video. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Before we do go, I do want to add one thing, is that as a football fan, as an England fan, I am proud of what our football players have done this summer. I think they have done a sensational job. They have gone beyond the capability of what I could have imagined an England team to do. And here at the Pride of London, we do not respect anybody who hates. So guys, if you do want to like your football, respect everybody because it's nice to be nice. Guys, thank you so much for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much and goodbye.